Right, welcome to a EURUSD case study. This was a trade that I took on Monday night, a very unconventional trade for me because it wasn't taken in London session or New York session. It was actually taken on the Open of Asia session. So this is a very strange one, but I saw what seemed to be a very textbook position. So I took the opportunity and it worked out in my favor. Obviously, I will only trade out of session if I see a setup that's so textbook that it would be silly not to take. So starting off, we're going to take it from the top on EURUSD and using, first of all, the 4-hour chart. I'm just going to let you know that you probably already know from the analysis. This down here was a 4-hour refined / daily demand zone retest, okay? So we came in around these levels, around 1.1750, and then actually formed an impulsive move to the upside from that demand zone. Now, this impulsive move went and cleared out all of these structure highs, this structure high, this structure high, and this structure high. So that impulse there shows us that we are most likely ready to move to the upside. However, as we know, we work with imbalances as well. And because there's such a large imbalance to the downside here, I figured that if the confirmation was presented to us, it would make sense to actually sell this thing down. So before we go long, I am actually looking at a short bias. Now, if we look on here on the 4-hour chart as well, we will see that we have a supply zone here on the 4-hour that was retested very nicely. So we came in, we tapped in, we formed just a ever so slightly lower high there, and then we had what looked like an impulsive push to the downside. So scaling this to the hourly chart now, we will see that this indeed was an impulsive move to the downside, and we went ahead and broke this structure point here. So we had a 1-hour bearish break of structure, and what this did was actually leave a bit of imbalance above. So as you'll know from our general setups, we like to see for reversal setups a higher high, higher low, higher high, a lower low, and then a lower high, and then the sell-off. And that's where we like to sell from, okay? So what I'm anticipating now on EURUSD is simply a pull-up to the highs to then push down. So I'm looking for shorts towards overall longs, right? Now, the actual trade that I took, however, was a long position on the even lower time frames, because if we drop it to the lower time frames now, the 15-minute and so on, you will see that we do have some imbalances through into some of these levels. So if I just grab this 15-minute supply zone, you will see that we do have an imbalance into this region, okay? Now, if we look above that, we do have another 15-minute supply zone, but this was retested. This is efficient pricing because we've had that supply zone retested. So this is efficient pricing. Then this sell-off here actually left open some inefficiency, some market inefficiency, an imbalance, so to speak, that we want to trade into. So if we actually look then on the 15-minute overall, generally, as we know, we want to sell the market, but we think first of all it's going to get into this region to sell off. So if the market's following structure, which you'll see it is, we could actually go ahead and buy this thing up to there, okay? So this is why top-down analysis is so beneficial, because not only does it give you accurate trades, but it gives you so many trades in the meantime between the larger positions. Obviously, if we'd have just been waiting for the 4-hour buy, that would have been fine. We'll most likely get a big 4-hour buy at some point. But if we also look at the lower time frames, we know we can also therefore look for a short as well. And in the meantime, to the short, if we go even lower, we can look for a buy because we know that this imbalance is very likely to be filled before any sell position comes in. So looking at the current structure on the 15-minute time frame, we can see that we are bullish. Okay. Now for this trade, I'm expecting this imbalance down towards the 1.1818 level to be filled. But at this point, we do have higher high, higher lows, higher highs again at this point, and then we have a higher low coming in here, which has filled this imbalance to the left and actually retested this demand zone very nicely. So after retesting that demand zone, we did go and break the very low time frame structure there. If we drop it to now the 10-minute, 5-minute charts, we'll see that we did go and break the structure here. Okay, we've broken that structure high with this impulsive move to the upside. So at this point, I was looking for a buy. Now, I wanted to see another higher high form, first of all, just for the added confirmation, because we are, as we've spoken about, still generally in a bit of a downtrending fashion in this market right now. So I'm expecting this region to be filled, but first of all, we do want to see a bit more confirmation. Now, as you will have seen me present to you a few times now, we can get the standard entry like that, or if we want more confirmations, we can wait for then a pullback and buy from the very low of the zone in there, all right? So that is the kind of trade I was looking for here on EURUSD. So allowing this market to play out a little bit, we will indeed see that after quite some time, we did get a large bullish drive to the upside. Now this was coming into Monday's session, okay? So this is around the point where I began identifying this trade setup. into Monday's session. Now we had a large impulsive drive up, which then broke the previous structure, formed once again a new higher high, and left open an imbalance into this 10-minute demand zone down here. Okay, so at this point I scaled down further to the 5-minute and refined that demand zone to the most refined position we could really get on the 5-minute time frame. So shifting it back up to the 10-minute, we'll see we now have a clear demand zone, a large imbalance formed by this impulsive move, and continuous higher highs. We still have the imbalance left open into the zone we want to buy into, so we still have good grounds, good reason for a trade. Now, through Monday, we consolidated a little bit. We then started to make a shift down, and this shift down took us into that demand zone, that refined demand zone that I had marked on the chart. So it was at this point where I began looking for a position, a very refined position using those 5-minute, 3-minute, and 1-minute time frames. So as we can see, we retested the midpoint of the zone, and at this point, if we drop it to the low time frame, for example, the 3-minute, I figured here, okay, we have a structure high coming in. If we can go and break out some of this structure high after retesting this zone, we are likely to begin an impulsive move to the upside, which we can then look to buy into. So we did indeed get a break of structure, and at this point, the next thing to do is to identify the demand zones that we want to buy from. Now, in this example, if we just pull this back for neatness, what I was looking for was this extreme demand zone in the low here, which has, as we can see here, some imbalance leading into it. Okay, so this is the zone that I wanted to buy from, and I figured I would buy from around the midpoint of this zone, just above the midpoint to account for spreads, at 1.18662. Now my stop loss for this trade was literally a 2-pip stop. And why did I choose a 2-pip stop? Because it allows us to actually clear all of this low. Okay, so the 2-pip stop sits just beneath the low of that 5-minute refined demand zone that we have down here. Okay, so nice and safe. Unless we breach the low, we are good for the position. And then my targets were obviously towards 1.1900, which is a very, very large R target, which takes us into that demand zone. Okay, so my actual target, I believe, was around just beneath that by about 1 pip. And at this point, it was a set and forget, because as you can see, we are entering the Asia session now. So I simply let the trade do its thing, and it did trigger me in very precisely. So it's a good job I actually want to put my entry a few pips just above that demand zone there. And I think we did come down for maybe a second tap, but the market then began moving to the upside very, very nicely throughout the night while I was away from the charts. So if we just go up to higher time frame now, the 15-minute, for example, we can see our target for this move, and we can just see the actual trade playing out here. It was a very choppy sideways trade, but it was continually managed because it gave us very nice structure. So the way that I managed this trade was actually when we form a new structure high, as we can see here, we have gone and broken this structure. When we form that new structure high, we go ahead and move the stop loss under that level there. Okay, so under the new low. So then when we get another bullish break of structure, we can then go ahead and when the new lower low forms, move our stops under that one. And then when we get a new higher high like this, we can go ahead and move our stops under the next one, or in this instance, under this one here. So this is how we manage the trades for the best results. And we can just continually keep riding the momentum. So when this trade came to a close, I had a very tight stop loss. I managed this actually on the 3-minute or 5-minute time frame. I believe it was this low here. We did come down, form this kind of double bottom formation, but then the market did push through and take me out of the position. So on this position overall, I closed out around 5% profit, a 0.5% risk, which was close to 10R. Okay, so as you can see, around 9.2R there. So I closed just under 5% on this position. And as you can see, the management was essential, because if we hadn't gone and trailed that stop loss with the market, we would have been taken out for a break even or a total loss, even after moving so deep into profit. So in this instance, the target was not fulfilled, but with management, I still managed to get a really nice profit for the fact I was only risking 0.5% on this trade. This trader showed you a very nice confirmation entry following that structure out of a 1-hour demand zone, and then actually finding an entry from a 10-minute demand zone using once again the bullish break of structure formation in the market, and a very nice buy limit entry just above the midpoint of that 5-minute, 3-minute zone. So overall, we did get just under 5% out of this position, which cleared out my whole losing streak, plus a few percent profit. And then the market has stumbled all the way down. And unfortunately now, if we do skip forward, we have gone and seen that zone retested, but only ever so slightly. Okay, so I wanted to see a confirmation entry in here. I was scoping this for shorts for us all now, but we did indeed just about miss that because the market really did tap and go. So where we are right now for Euro USD, I will be looking for this kind of zone to be filled again if we do use that Fibonacci tool, which we do like to bring in every now and then to give ourselves a general region to buy or sell from. You will see that in this zone is the 78 and 88% fib levels. So I won't be going with a sell limit just yet, but I do think if we can come back into this region for our next trade, we do have some nice imbalance left open below. So if we can get a nice pullback, I will be looking to sell after we've filled some of this imbalance from around 1.1890 to actually bring the market down into that buy zone that we're really targeting. So a trade may be on the horizon on Euro USD here. I also have positions on GBP JPY, but we'll talk about those in the community. I hope you've enjoyed this case study. I hope you've learned from this breakdown and seen how you can actually get quite a lot of profit out of the smaller moves in the market. If you want to learn to analyze and trade the markets the way I do, head over to the link in the description and enroll in my online course. Within the course, you're going to learn all about Forex trading and you'll see my entire step-by-step system to taking trades. Included is also the community where you can trade with myself and my team every single day, get access to case studies and additional mentorship. As a nice bonus too, you'll get access to the members area. There are 40 plus additional educational videos in there, and I post new market breakdowns every week, along with tutorials on how to take the trades and invest in ideas. So if you want to get involved, head over to that link in the description. If you're interested in just the community, there are affordable subscription plans available as well. So I hope to see you there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.